Would you go to a doctor who never performed a successful operation, who never successfully diagnosed an illness? Probably not. So, why do so many people want to trust a couple guys that have failed and only failed at business? Many bankruptcies, many times asked to leave and give up executive functions in companies because of the detriment they're doing to them companies. We have guys coming in here just hacking and chopping away at things that makes absolutely no sense to anyone that can think critically for 2 seconds. When I used to run a business, I actually worked in the retail world, not run a business, but I worked in different departments. I actually started overseeing a bunch of departments. And when I oversaw departments, to boil it down, we had two options to kind of increase profitability of things. One, increase sales, or two, cut cost. And inevitably, the guys that have been around for many years, have been doing it forever, and I learned the most from, would aim at the first option: increase sales. Get the money coming in. Don't cut the labor. Don't cut the expenses going out. Don't cut corners in production to make a less quality product. Keep everything in. Keep a quality product, high service, everything else, but boost and sell. Sell, sell, sell to get more income coming in to increase your profitability. And the lazy people and the ones that didn't want to do the work and all the effort would just start hacking away at things. And inevitably, I would end up having to replace them people as heads of their departments because their department would just go into utter chaos and destruction. They weren't making any money because they lost a lot of things. They lost a lot of consumer confidence. They lost a lot, just the quality of everything going out was horrible. And they just cut so many corners to in order to cut cost that people didn't want to buy it anymore. So the guys that would go out and try to sell more and keep the quality up and keep the service up always succeeded in doing what they were doing because they pushed and they knew they had a quality thing behind them and increased the income. So why do we do it any different in our government? Why would you go in and start hacking away at things? It doesn't make sense. You have a percentage of the population, a very small percentage of the population that could pay a whole lot to cover a lot of the expenses, and they'd still live comfortably afterwards. So instead of trying to increase the amount of funds coming in, we want to hack off all the funds that are taking care of a lot of people in our country, people that need it to live, people that give them an actual chance to prosper in this country, to make a decent living for themselves and take care of themselves. But instead, we have two guys that come in and are lazy and just hack, hack, hack. Elon's notorious for this. I mean, just look at what he did at Twitter. First thing he did was fire half the employees and realized shortly soon after, because he has no foresight, that he's destroying the product that he had. It wasn't a quality product, and it hasn't been ever since because of the cuts that he made. I'm going to make it more profitable by cutting out all this labor. That labor served a purpose. You cut out all this stuff out of the government, all the aid going out, all the jobs. Where are you going to get your money from? If you're relying on a lot of your taxable income from these people that are working these jobs to run the government, now they don't have jobs. Where are you going to get your taxable income from? Your whole theory is that now they're going to go out and work in the private sector, but there's only so many jobs available for them out there. And without money in their pockets flowing to buy stuff, people aren't going to be hiring more people to come in because there isn't that disposable income in the high section of the population because you fired them and they don't have work anymore. You don't have this coming in and you're saying, well, we're going to open up more production, but you're years down the road before factories get built and assembly lines get made and production gets going on, if that even is going to be a feasible possibility. You just shot yourself in the foot by doing all this. But when you don't have foresight and you're lazy, the first thing you do is just going to start cutting and not think about the consequences of it down the road. And we're seeing that now, and we're seeing the outfall from it. And we're going to see a ripple effect coming down of everything that got cut. And it's going to be harmful and hurtful to our whole country. And until they realize this, they're going to have to keep hacking and hacking and hacking because they're not going to go and tax the top 1%. That's feeding them. That's putting money in their pockets. Until eventually, there's nothing left to hack. And you're extremely top heavy in the country. and then they're going to start to suffer. But it's going to be years down the road. There's no foresight, there's no thought, there's no logic behind anything they're doing. Instead of going out and trying to cut these expenses and everything else, there is some stuff you can trim off here, but you need to use a scalpel and figure it out and make everything accountable, but make it more efficient and use that productivity, that people power, that everything that you have in there to make it more efficient and get to the places it needs to get to. And get your income from the people that can afford to give up the income. I mean, I know common sense ain't so common, but for a humble guy like me, it's pretty easy to figure out. You're attacking it from the wrong end, only to please the guys above you. It's the true definition of an oligarchy, and that's what we're sliding into. But it's going to fall upon itself like every oligarchy ever does, because there's nothing underneath that's going to keep supporting them. They need us to support them. They need our money and everything else. And when we don't have it anymore, then they're going to collapse on themselves and start eating themselves. Hopefully we don't get to that point, and we can start standing up and talking and get past it and show these people what we really mean. Maybe they're starting to see it, but they're pretty blinded to the glow, the orange glow coming from here and the power that he wields, supposedly. But soon everyone's going to open their eyes and see this guy's a moron, has no idea. There's a reason so many businesses went bankrupt and defunct that he operated, because he has no clue what he's doing. He's an absolute moron. The only thing he's a genius at is a con game.